Okay, so apparently I have been submitted a video from Isaac Butterfield that I need to talk about, which he said it's labeled Trump. I don't know if that tells me anything about what this video is about, actually. Like, it's just called Trump, and it just has him staring here angrily or drunkenly. I'm not really sure which one. It's hard to say. But before we get into that, let's get into the fan art section. And this one's gonna be a little bit different than what we normally do. See, normally the fan art is taken from the Discord, but this one instead comes from somebody named King of Screams, who did not submit it via Discord, but did submit it via Twitter DM. And this is... I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's me in a onesie being forced to say words I don't like while Vice Rhino in a suit is just having the grandest of gay old times. And that could mean a lot of things in 2024, I realize. And with the things he's figured out about himself on stream and off stream, he's probably also realized more ways in which... Anyway, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. I think it's funny as hell, though. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this this social experiment. We're going to go ahead and call it, where I let my chat throw videos at me, and I figure out whether or not I need to suffer.
I discovered something very interesting the other day. The only reason that Donald Trump ever became president or ever has a chance of becoming president again is because men are misogynists.
Actually, yeah. Like, the only reason that Trump was able to get elected is that he had a base of people that were okay excusing a lot of his flippant language towards women. There were other factors there as well, but if America didn't have so much rampant misogyny to begin with, then, yeah, he wouldn't have been elected. Because a lot of people who are misogynist and did vote did assist him in getting elected. I'm failing to see the joke so far.
That's it. That's the only reason. American men hate women, and American women also hate women, particularly white women. They definitely hate women.
Okay, so, yes, actually. I hate to tell you this, but yes, actually, asterisk. There is an asterisk I need to put there. It's not that they hate women, it's that Republicans are very, very good at getting people to vote against their own interests. That's what it is. So, for instance, even though trans women being allowed in cis women's bathrooms, right, just women's bathrooms, trans women being allowed in these bathrooms is a universal net positive. But if you ban trans women from bathrooms, then this funny thing ends up happening, where cis women who aren't particularly attractive end up getting labeled as trans, because why would one of the transes be attractive? That's the general idea. If you look up like the Republican idea of a trans woman, there's two of them. There's the really hot one that exists in porn that is usually Asian, and then there is the version that is like a blue-haired person with a scraggly beard screaming, that's the other version of a, quote, trans woman that exists in Republican minds. So, when a cis woman who looks fairly masculine due to something like, say, PCOS, or is just not given the genetic lottery, that person ends up suffering as a result. That cis woman ends up suffering as a result because she ends up getting transvestigated by a bunch of people. And how the fuck do you prove that you are or are not trans when you go into the fucking restroom? Yet, you can get women, cis women, oftentimes cis women who are very unattractive, you can get them to argue against trans women every damn day. All you have to do is convince them that they are the enemy. It does not have anything to do with these women being closeted misogynists. It has to do with convincing them to do something that is inherently misogynistic and making them think it is in their best interest. That's what it is. That's all it's ever been, Isaac. That ends up looking like the women are misogynist, absolutely, but that doesn't mean that what you're saying is technically wrong either.
And of course, all of this means that people who happen to be a different color than white definitely don't vote for Trump. The strangest part of all of that is women hating themselves. I don't know why they would be misogynistic towards themselves, but
I mean, have you ever seen self-hating men? It's weird. Okay, cool. So, like, in the same world that you can have the, like, beta cuck male that hates himself and hates his masculinity, you can have the woman who thinks that women shouldn't be allowed to vote, which is, yeah, a form of self-hatred. If you're willing to strip away your own human rights from yourself, I'm willing to say that's a little bit of self-hatred. Just a smidge. Just a little itty-bitty bit.
Anyway, I direct your attention to this article. This is a misogyny emergency. A huge outpouring is coming in the run-up to the US election by Carolyn Cadwalder.
Cadwalder? It's Cadwalder, I think. I'm probably saying that incorrectly. But yeah, that's already happened, Isaac. Just in case you may have maybe missed the train on that one, Kamala Harris was told that she slept and sucked her way to the top. That's what everybody has said is the narrative about how she got into power. Because when a man gets into power, it's because he's legitimately good at what he does. But when a woman gets into power, it has to be because they were dangling somebody's dangly bits in their dangly mouth. That's what that is in reference to, my guy. And that is exactly what happened. But go ahead and continue.
Now, I don't think this is too outrageous to say, but usually if you're going to use the misogynist argument or play the gender card, usually your argument is, well, shit. But let's say
no, you just don't like it because it benefits you better to ignore it, but okay.
What old Carol has to say, maybe she is spot on. This time, Kamala Harris will be the target of the social media platforms that promote prejudice.
Yeah, she's definitely been that. There are people making fun of her on Chan boards. There are people making fun of her on Poll. There are people making fun of her on Twitter, which has had a huge spike in shit like anti-Semitism and racism since Elon Musk took over. Like, we have evidence of these things, Isaac, but okay.
Of course, people will just take issue with Kamala Harris because of her skin color and her gender. It's got nothing to do with her policies.
It never has anything to do with her policies. They never talk about her policies. When Donald Trump talks about her policies, he either says they were Biden's policies, or he'll go, and then she says she's black or she's Indian. I don't know which one it is this week. Like, yeah, a lot of times when people attack Kamala Harris, they are using gendered attacks and not actually going for her actual policy proposals. Now, granted, it is a little hard to hit her on her policy proposals when those are a little scant. There's not a whole lot there right now. A lot of it is assumed to be defaults and carryovers from the Biden administration. So there is a tiny bit of efficacy to that, but still, what we've observed online shows that people are more apt to attack her based on, again, not policies, but her gender or her station as vice president, using criticisms of Biden against her specifically.
At all. What are her policies? What are her policies? Can anyone answer that? Now, I know that Trump got...
Now, as for what her policies are, yeah, I agree. It's hard to define exactly what Harris's policies are, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of them. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and go to her actual website, and let's move over to the issue section to figure out what her policies are. And one of the first ones is cutting taxes for the middle class. She wants to provide a child tax credit. They will expand the child tax credit, which currently provides a $6,000 tax cut to families. She wants to go ahead and make sure that that is expanded for people. She wants to make sure that anybody earning less than $400,000 a year pays less in taxes than the people who are paying more than that. She also has a policy on making rent more affordable for people. She wants to provide first-time home buyers with up to $2,500 to help with their down payments, with a more generous support for first-generation homeowners, so people who don't have a history of buying a house already. Let's see here. Bringing down the cost of healthcare. What do we have here? She wants to make sure there's a $35 cap on insulin and a $2,000 cap on out-of-pocket spending for all seniors in America. She wants to lower all healthcare premiums by about $800 a year per each American. We want to protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare as well. So let's see here. She wants to strengthen Social Security for the long haul by making millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share on taxes, which would mean making sure that they are paying more than they currently are paying, which can then be put towards those expenditures. Let's see here. Lowering energy costs. This is one I care about because my power bill's too fucking expensive right now. But going in here, she wants to lower household energy costs by creating hundreds of thousands. She wants to lower those costs, creating hundreds of thousands of high-quality, clean energy jobs, building a thriving clean energy economy, all while ensuring America's energy security and independence with record energy production. She wants to unite America to tackle the climate crisis as she builds on this work, advancing economic, environmental justice, protecting public lands and public health, and increasing resilience to climate disasters, lowering household costs. Let's see here. She said at the International Climate Conference, COP28, she knows that meeting the global challenge will require global cooperation, and she is committed to continue to building upon the United States international climate leadership. So, while there is not an exact policy that is given there, the brass tacks of that does seem to be she recognizes that these costs are too hard on lower and middle income Americans. So, I would like there to have been a policy proposal here, but there is not one here. There is the idea of what she needs to do, but there are other proposals that have been put further up in the document. And you can look at the website if you want to find more on stuff that she wants to do for protecting civil rights, for tackling the opioid crisis. You can look all this stuff up for yourself, but it's just so much easier, right? It is so much easier to, instead of looking it up, to play it for a quick gag. Isn't that right, Isaac?
Got in a lot of trouble just, last week when he said that Kamala apparently only just came out as black. But if you go back to 2016, that is, well, she wasn't black then, she was Indian.
Our collective community, and there needs to be out.
Do you understand, Isaac, that she's both? She's both. She has a black parent and she has an Indian parent. You are aware of that, right? That's a thing that she is. She is a mixed race person. And if she happens to not be the first black American appointed to a particular seat, but she is the first Indian American appointed to that seat, it makes sense to focus on her Indian heritage. If she is the first black American to a particular seat, then it makes sense to focus on that part of her heritage, as more of the United States is comprised of people who are black compared to people who are Indian, as far as I know from the last time I looked at the population data when I did that 1350 video a very long time ago. She is both of those things, my guy, and everybody who has ever focused on a single issue for votes has known that it is better to play the cards that you are dealt, as opposed to making shit the fuck up. Brutus Magnuson says Hogan said a slur towards Native against her. Yeah, she's Indian in the sense of Indians, not Native Americans. So yeah, the fact that he went, wasn't it he tried to do the whole Pocahontas thing against her when it doesn't really apply here, like, at all? That's really, really weird, right? I think that's really strange. She is both Indian and black. It is entirely okay to point out she is both Indian and black, as opposed to pretending for some reason that she is only one of these things, when that's just not how any of this has ever worked, Isaac. She is both. She did not change races on you at any fucking point.
Outreach and inclusion.
And certainly you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
And now she's black. I mean, you know, I know a lot of people don't like Trump, but having a crack at him, being angry at him for saying that, he's just being accurate. And let me just say this, be very clear with you all.
He's not being accurate there at all. It's a lie to stir up racist people.
I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a MAGA guy. I don't know.
Yes, you are, Isaac. Every person that has to do this whole, I'm not for Trump, I'm not for MAGA, my guy, I don't think you're even in the States to give a shit, but you're definitely playing defense for him, so sit down.
Enough about their policies, and I'm guessing you don't either. But what I do know is whatever the Democrats...
Wait, you mean I don't know enough about Trump's policies? You mean that the multiple videos that I've done on Project 2025, which he has specifically endorsed and said he's definitely using as the foundation for shit, even though he tried to smokescreen on it about a month ago, saying that Agenda 47 was the only thing on the table? I don't know enough about his shit. I know enough about his shit. The man tried to ban trans people from the fucking military. I know what his policies are, dumb fuck.
Democrats are up to at the moment, whatever's happening to their party, it's a mess. Harris, Biden, Gavin Newsom, who led California into a toxic wasteland. I'm not about you guys. I'm not about you guys at all.
Led California into a toxic wasteland? Weren't there wildfires that displaced a whole bunch of people that then had to go into the cities for shelter, and that caused the overcrowding in the cities? Is that really a Gavin Newsom issue? I was unaware.
Gender ideology, you're ridiculous.
Gender ideology? Like the fact that non-binary people exist and trans people are valid? Is that what you're talking about?
Ridiculous hatred of white men. The whole
hatred of white men? Where is that happening? I can play stupid with that one, right? Because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Thing is just crazy, and not to mention blocking RFK from getting anywhere near the nominee for the Democratic Party. But
why would we want the brainworms dog eating person? Why is what? Blocking him from getting... He wasn't popular enough to get the nomination. Who the fuck blocked him? Nobody wanted him.
That's a whole nother thing. Whatever you guys are up to on the left side of American politics, you guys are fucked. And I've spent a fair bit of time in America now. I don't think you guys represent what real America is about. And then you got Trump standing there, shot in the ears, underneath the American flag. I'm not even a citizen and I wanted to vote for him. All in all, if you compare Trump...
So, this one, I'm torn on. On the one hand, I completely understand having that opinion. I really do. I understand the feeling of wanting a strong man, and he just happens to portray one because Trump is very well media trained. He knows how to goad an audience. He knows how to lead an audience. He knows how to make sure that people are responding to the things he is doing. He comports himself based on what a camera could see. That is what he does all the time. Now, my problem is that I do not think that that is enough of a criterion to, be a United States president. Being good on camera is not enough for me to want to vote for you. I want to look at your policy decisions, and that's the stuff that I care about more than anything. And when we look at Trump's policy decisions, we look through Project 2025, we look through Agenda 47, and we see that he wants to do things like, eliminate overtime, cut so many of the professionals out of their jobs in the White House and other areas of government and replace them with loyalists. We see that he wants to re-ban trans people from the United States military, despite them making up a higher per capita amount of the U.S. military than other demographics. When we look at the things he actually wants to do, they don't look too good. So I don't want Trump. I don't want the guy who fucking smoke bombed a church so that he could get a photo shoot with an upside down Bible he used to whack a flying insect. That's the guy I don't want, okay? I know enough about him. I know enough about his policies. I don't need him. You don't need him either. Nobody needs him. So let's go ahead and continue.
Trump and Harris and the Democrats and the Republicans, I still do think, and I've said this for a long time, an independent would be much better because they don't have all these political biases and leanings that these big parties happen to have. They're not...
You understand that everybody has these political biases and leanings. The party colors them, sure, but having an independent does not magically make them better. I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. I want the independent, I want the centrist, I want that. It is the most brain-dead fucking opinion in all of politics. It is the I don't want to think about politics opinion on politics. It is the lazy opinion on politics. And if it is your opinion on politics, then I am sorry that you are so lazy about it. When you look at a politician, you need to look at their policies their history, and their promises. That gives you context for who they are right now, the person they're going to be in office, and the things they've done in the past. When we look at those things for Kamala Harris, she is not as far left as I would like. I would like somebody like Bernie Sanders, and hell, I'd like somebody further left than him too. But I recognize that a politician is inevitably a rock. And if you want to make that rock gleaming, if you want to make it good, you want to make it look presentable, you need to polish the rock. You don't go looking around for the perfect fucking rock, because you're never gonna find it. You find the one that is A, most likely to get elected, and B, most likely to do the best for you, and you work on polishing that rock. There's gonna be a billion stones out there, and not all of them are going to be worth considering, but some of them are close enough to what you need. If you are always looking for the perfect politician, you're never going to be happy. As for the independence thing, it is impossible for an independent to become president in the United States in our current political climate. The reason for that is we have, and CCB Gray has a wonderful video on this, there is a massive mathematical bias towards a two-party system because we have first-past-the-post voting. For us to get an independent, we need to change our first-past-the-post voting system into instead a system that is ranked choice or any other system that allows us to weigh options better. With first-past-the-post voting, you have to look at the lesser of two evils in every single voting scenario. You look for the person who's going to do the least harm, period. However, in something like ranked choice voting, you can say, my first choice is Jill Stein, as an example. And since my first choice is her, if I don't get that, I'll go ahead and hedge that Kamala is my second choice. So with ranked choice, you end up having this first wave of votes where people feel perfectly secure in their first choice being whatever they really want, and their second choice being the thing they will take if they cannot get that. So if the independent gets enough votes in that system where people know their vote won't literally, and I mean literally, go to waste if they do not cast it for one of the two parties, then they know that they will be able to use their vote here. If their vote does not end up going for the person they want, they will get their second person. This means that people who are Republicans but don't like Trump, and people who are Democrats but don't like Harris, would be able to grab a third person like Jill Stein and say, I'll take Jill Stein as my first, but if I can't get her, I'll get Harris. Or if I can't get her, I'll get Trump. This allows for an independent third party to actually function. But if you look at the way that the party system has functioned in the United States for as long as it has, you're not going to find a way to get an independent person with no party affiliation the presidency. There's not enough backing there. They don't have enough dollars from the national convention for their party to advertise enough for their side. They don't have the resources. And the only argument that ever exists for getting the independent person in is that if they make 6% of the votes during any given election, they are given more resources in the subsequent election. But the fact that that 6% doesn't get secured 99% of the time should be evidence enough that this system is working, unfortunately, as intended for the two parties involved. Right now, the best thing you can do is engage in harm management, crisis management, harm and crisis reduction. If you want an independent, you need to change the voting system to allow for it. Also, how the fuck is it going, Riverboat Jack? Thank you for stopping in. We are talking about Isaac Butterfield. Also, for those who don't know, we just did a collab with Riverboat Jack. If you are just now tuning in, maybe go check that out on the YouTube channel when that goes up. That said, Daniel Blue says, America needs a left-of-center party. We need a leftist party. We need a socialist party. I'm sorry. The Democrats are already left-of-center. We need an actual fucking socialist party in the United States. That's what we need. Unfortunately, the Republicans get to operate as a big tent where their fascists and their centrists are in the same boat. Sean Helfand says, this is the reason why you need to run in the lower seats. Representation in the Senate is the only thing that functions. And even then, if you're looking for the lower seats, you're gonna have more opportunities in local elections or the House. That's where you're going to have more power. That's where you're going to have more ability.
not controlled by corporations, all right? And let's all remember right now, we do not live in a democracy, we live in an oligarchy, okay?
Half right and half wrong? You say we, but you're not here, so I'm going to assume you're talking about Americans. Salt your cupcake, thank you for the follow. If you're talking about Americans, then we live in a democracy with undue influence from an oligarchy. We are not on paper an oligarchy. The working class still has some headway and some power, just not as much as he would like, not as much as we would like. This is one of those areas where I have to say, you're not right. You're not wrong either. You're somewhere in the middle there.
It doesn't matter where you are in the first world. It's not a democracy. The United States, the UK, Australia, anywhere in the first world, you have your figureheads and you think they are the ones that run it, but it's the deep state. We all know this. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is reality. But
it's the deep state. It's the deep state. It's not a conspiracy. It's the deep state. No, it's corporate lobbyists. That's not the deep state. That's a corporate lobby. They are very public. They are very known. They are an evil that we can commit we can definitely stop with unions. Anyway.
Sure, let's not worry about any of that. Let's focus all of our attention on a person.
Sephi, no, I cannot take a look at that link as I am currently doing a topic right now. So that's just not happening, my guy.
With too much testosterone fighting women in the Olympics.
Oh my fucking God. Are we really going this route as well? A cis woman fights in the Olympics and does well. Chaos in the streets. It's bad.
That's much better. Yes, that will help us all. Oh, and also I didn't know where to add this in the video, but apparently race, gender, and age will determine Kamala Harris's running mate.
You know that race, gender, and age determined Biden's running mate, right? He was an old white man with a speaking problem, so he grabbed a younger black woman who did not have a speaking problem. Yeah, that's how that works. Did you know that age and gender played a huge part in Trump's decision as well? Well, race as well. So because he was going with the Republican Party, the best person for him to grab would be a young white dude. And he grabbed a young white dude. That's what you do. You grab the person who seems a little bit opposite of who you are. Anyway.
Yeah, not the best person for the job, but the one that...
Sean Helfin says, this video is really old. It is a month old. You are entirely correct. I would like to ask you if Isaac Butterfield has become more smart in that month. And since we will have no evidence of that, we will continue the video.
That ticks the most boxes. In what world is that appropriate for someone going to lead the free world?
That's always been the case because the vice president will also have qualifications. Tim Walz is a very qualified person. Look, when you say, oh, those things will determine it, yes, of a group of equally qualified people, the one who is older and who is a guy and who is white is the one who will get picked. Also, Virginia, thank you very much for following. Virginia. So now JD Vance is not very qualified? Actually, no, JD Vance is entirely qualified. No, I will not. I hate the dude. I think he's a piece of shit. I think that he does not deserve to have any modicum of power. But he is, in every way, shape, and form, qualified to be president of the United States. He meets the age requirement. He has done the actual study for being a lawyer, and he does have a political career in the background that shows he has experience. I hate the guy. I think he is one of the worst human beings. But qualified, he is, which is really annoying to me.
Okay. Back to Caroline, or Carol, or whatever the fuck her name is. Take it away, babe. In 2016, a historically unprecedented event took place, and yet barely anyone even noticed. Even years later, we failed to acknowledge it or even have begun the process of understanding it because we can't even see it. What she's talking about here is Trump beating Hillary Clinton in 2016. That's what she's going to get to. And that is because the incident involved a woman. and she was asking for it. Okay, Caroline, Carol, whatever your fucking name is. Okay, go on. The woman was Hillary Clinton, and she was asking for votes. And what she got was the single biggest outpouring of misogyny in human history yet.
I don't think it was the biggest single outpouring of human history. That feels like liberal cope. Now, what we did see happen is her win the popular vote and then lose the presidency, which is weird to me.
Yes, it's because she's a woman. That's why she got a lot of hate. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that she has, I don't want to fucking say things that'll get me killed here, skeletons in the closet, perhaps.
Are we really doing the Clintons killed lots of people? Not a tinfoil, no conspiracy theories here, but definitely the Clintons killed many a people. Now, I'm not gonna say that politicians are not evil, skeezy shits. I'm not. But unless you've got actual hard evidence that Clinton has been involved in a series of murders, then I'm sorry. This is just conspiracy brain nutwad. Jesus fucking Christ.
Perhaps. Or I'm joking. I'm totally joking. She's a very good person. A lovely person.
I don't think she's a good person at all. I think she's a terrible politician who's been bought with AIPAC money. I think she is definitely one of the types of people who would endorse genocide if it would give her more votes. I do not like Hillary Clinton. However, I do not think that she has had... I do not think we have enough evidence to say that she's been involved in, like, a series of fucking killings.
Come on, she was one of the worst candidates of all time. This is not misogyny here. This is people being fucking normal. She has horrific rumors about her. Her husband's a huge piece of shit. You think that Trump treats women badly? Look at fucking Hillary Clinton's husband, Bill. He's the original fucking dirtbag. And
wait, but why was he a dirtbag? The Monica Lewinsky thing? Because, like, we don't know how much of that was even allowed by his own wife. We don't know what the fuck they were into. With Trump, we have him saying that he would grab women by the pussy. We have him saying that women just let you do it when you have money. We have him actively bragging about that shit. With Bill Clinton, all we have is he cheated on his wife with Monica Lewinsky and did kinky things with a cigar. I don't think that necessarily makes him a dirtbag. I'm sorry. Sean Helfen says, yeah, Monica's still breathing, by the way, so that's a good example of saying she doesn't go killing people. Like, again, I do not know the relationship dynamics there. I don't. Having been in multiple polyamorous relationships before, I don't knock other people's relationship dynamics unless they involve scat, in which case they are entirely invalid. I will die on this hill. I'm okay dying on this hill. That shit is gross. Anyways, unsanitariness aside, I do not know what happened behind closed doors there. And as I don't know, I'm not going to make assumptions there. If he did, in fact, cheat on his wife, then that's entirely bad, and that's horrific. And Trump has definitely cheated on his partners as well. We just don't know of it. But Trump is actually a rapist. Like, capital R rapist. He has engaged in raping women. We know he has, and we know that judges have ruled that he has, even if he did not technically meet the specific requirements for it to be rape, which means he needed to be a certain amount of the ways in using his penile member. You don't need to do just that for rape. You can use your hands for it, you can use your finger for it, you can use toys for it. There's plenty of ways to engage in harming another human being sexually. And I'm sorry, but Trump has done that, so we don't get to whataboutism Bill Clinton here.
In 2016, Caroline Carroll goes on to say that it's all about social media. This is where all this misogyny came from, and the result was an earthquake. Donald Trump. Now, if you go back to 2016, if you remember it at all, Trump was laughed at when he said he was going to be the president. People thought it was a big joke.
Yes, he was the meme president, and then social media did what it did. The 4chaners got a hold of him and turned him into the meme guy.
And he did it. He played the game. He beat the media. And was misogyny involved? Maybe a little bit. But to say that it was only misogyny that got him to win.
Wait, did it? Hold on. So let me get this straight. If a bunch of people voted for Trump because they really liked how much of a misogynistic dirtbag he was, and that was enough to tip the Electoral College, since he lost the popular vote, I think it's actually entirely okay to say that misogyny was the reason behind it. Just like there's a billion other reasons that he got elected. It's okay to say that this was a big one, that was a big factor.
In 2016 is being absolutely ridiculous. And you're not being honest with yourself. You're lying. You are lying to you idiot. In some respects, maybe Trump went too far. And maybe his supporters went too far. But I guarantee...
I think he went too far when he did the rape thing.
The Democrats did the exact same thing. All is fair in love and politics, after all. But 8 years on, we haven't even begun to understand that lesson. We didn't listen to Hillary. Yeah, we didn't listen to her because we don't have cash. We don't have big cash. What am I talking about? Leading up to the 2016 election, $153 million was paid to Bill and Hillary Clinton in speaking fees. They are documented numbers, apparently, allegedly. All right? Now, who were these speeches to, may you ask? Well, mainly big banks, big corporations, the powers that be. The two also reported at least $7.7 million for at least 39 speeches to big banks, including Goldman Sachs and UBS, with Clinton, the Democratic 2016 frontrunner, collecting at least $1.8 million for at least 8 speeches to big banks.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons why they are pieces of shit. But, boy, wouldn't it be funny if... God, wouldn't it be so funny if, you know... Wouldn't it be funny if that was a normal thing for these money-grubbing politicians to do? God, could you imagine if there happened to be an article on the same website you used for your source on the speaking fees for Clintons, if there was an article from specifically July 13th, 2023, talking about the speaking fees for Donald and Melania Trump? God, wouldn't that be so weird if that were the case? Man, let's see here. Trump getting paid a total of $2 million for speaking just at 2 Universal Peace Federation World Summits in Bedminster. Him getting $2.5 million for speaking at Triller Legends LLC, which was a media company that promoted professional fights. God, him getting paid $2.3 million by the American Freedom Tour for 4 speaking engagements in Florida. The firm staged tickets events that featured Trump and other prominent figures of ultra-conservative circles. God, it's so weird. He earned $5.35 million for a license fee from what is described as a DT Marks Oman LLC that the Trump organization struck a deal with a Saudi real estate company to build a Trump hotel, villa, and golf course as part of a $4 billion project here. Wouldn't it be super weird if Trump was also in the hands of all of the same fucking corporations as the Clintons, and we had documented evidence of the millions of dollars he made in speaking engagements? God, wouldn't that be so weird? Wouldn't that be so strange, Isaac, if we happened to have all of that information as well? God, that would be just awkward.
Yeah, that's who you want in control of the world. Someone who is bought out by banks. But if you say that, you're a misogynist, so welcome. I mean, again, we have the spending records for the Trumps as well, and it's just as exorbitant. It's millions of dollars per engagement. Again, this is unfortunately part and parcel to modern day politics. This is a problem that is shared across all of them. You cannot point it out on one of them without pointing it out on another. Anyway. To the clan. It's nice to have you here. There's plenty of room. There's drink.
I think there's a reason that he focused on the banks too, as well. Just saying, there's a particular religious, ethnic race of people that are largely associated with banks. You know, yeah, it's probably just circumstance, right? It's got to be.
drinks. Enjoy. We haven't yet realised that misogyny is one of the most dangerous weapons on earth. The best friend of authoritarians and oligarchs. The handmaiden of tyrants.
I mean, yeah, this is an op-ed article. You're gonna get flowery language. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So it wasn't misogyny when the Democrats labelled Tulsi Gabbard a asset of the Russians? That wasn't misogyny at all? Or was that just...
Is that misogyny? Hold on. Let me just, real quick. We're going to go ahead and look at The Hill because they're generally really, really dry and boring and don't tend to push things too terribly far in political directions. Kinzinger calls out Gabbard for Russian misinformation. Representative Adam Kinzinger called out former Representative Tulsi Gabbard on Sunday for actual Russian propaganda after the ex-congresswoman tweeted a video claiming that the U.S. is funding more than 75 biolabs in Ukraine that are conducting research on dangerous pathogens. He said that this is actual Russian propaganda, traitorous. Russia also said that the Lugar Center in Georgia was making zombies. Tulsi should go to Russia. Kinzinger wrote that in a retweet of a video that Gabbard published earlier that day. Gabbard tweeted a nearly 2-minute video on Sunday laying out the undeniable fact that the U.S. funds between 25 and 30 biolabs in Ukraine that are conducting research on dangerous pathogens. The New York Times conducted a fact check on Friday that said the theory that the U.S. is funding biological weapons in Ukraine is baseless. Yeah, I feel like she might think that she's in a fucking Resident Evil game. That's not really a misogyny thing. That's just pointing out that she's spreading a bunch of fucking lies. Okay? Jesus Christ.
It's politics. Okay? Is it misogyny if it just affects a woman? Or is it just politics? Because if you attack a man, that's cool, that's fine. But if it's a woman, it's not okay.
Is it maybe because the person that they're talking about, Donald Trump, actively engaged in misogynistic rhetoric all the fucking time, and actively has engaged in saying that Kamala Harris slept her way to the top? Is it maybe that we're talking about misogyny in regards to Trump because he actively shows that he is a misogynist? It feels like that would be the case, Isaac. It feels like that would be the case.
That's a bit silly, don't you think? If you want to fucking go to war with the big heads in power, if you want to take on the president, if you want to become president, if you want to fight in politics, you're going to have shit thrown at you. And if you can't deal with that, fucking get a different job. Network misogyny across multiple global platforms that will earn their tech bro owners billions upon billions of dollars. That's what's going to decide the 2024 election. I'm sure she's talking about Elon Musk there. It's nice to be a victim, isn't it, love? You all right? Are you okay? And it's misogyny.
Hey, but Elon Musk owns one of the biggest social media industries of all time, and he has shown that he is a giant misogynist, and he has shown that he is very pro-Trump, and none of this is as baseless as you want to pretend it is, Isaac. I'm sorry, but I think we have to be done with your video now, because we're at the 42-minute mark because it takes much less time to say bullshit than it does to debunk bullshit, to deconstruct bullshit. We have to sit here and just play around with the bullshit, letting the smears move around on the concrete as if they are the only thing entertaining us for the week. I don't think I can entertain it anymore, my guy. That's a bit much for me. That's a bit much for me. You just said random shit and hoped it would stick. I'm sorry, but no. Daniel Blow says, a lot to debunk here too. Yeah, there is a lot to go over here. There is a lot to unpack. This is the thing, like, when you make a Gish Gallopy video that goes over all this shit, it is hard to deconstruct every single aspect of it. Citrus Peppercorn says, if NFTs were a man, it'd be Elon Musk. Yeah, that's about accurate. That is about accurate. That said, I think that's all we have for this video. I cannot stomach anymore. If you find yourself wanting to watch it, you can. That's a you thing. That is a you issue, not me. That said, let me know what you think in the comments section below. I think that this is just a pile of horse crap that we can debunk with the several articles we already pulled up in order to debunk most of the crap that Isaac said. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, everybody, insert end video tagline here. Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Agamotto, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fire Shard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full time, and with your help, I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.